Yo, what's up guys, it's Rob, and today we're going to be looking at the Razer Orochi V2. This mouse was released Q2 2021. It is $70, but the Razer Customs version is $90, and that's the version I got. I chose this beautiful design. And the mouse with the AA battery weighs in at 82 grams. With the AAA battery, it weighs in at 66 grams. And the best way to use the mouse, in my opinion, is with the AAA battery and the AA converter, which comes in at 70 grams. This way you can have the lightweight of the AAA battery but the size of the AA in the middle of the mouse, and it just makes the mouse so much better to use because it gets rid of any weight and balance issues that you could possibly have, and I just don't feel any weight balance issues when using the mouse this way. Before I go any further, just wanted to let you all know I have added this mouse to my mouse review sheet. Link to that is down in the description, and I will add gameplay that I got with this mouse at the end of the video, so stick around for that. So yeah, the battery life is rated at 425 hours with the 2.4 gigahertz wireless mode, and on Bluetooth it's like 900 hours or something like that. I used the mouse for a week and I obviously did not have to change the battery. So battery life will definitely not be an issue when it comes to this mouse. The liftoff distance can be changed. It can go from low to high, which is always good for anybody who likes low and or high liftoff distances. And the sensor of the mouse is the Razer 5G optical sensor, which is a sensor that performed really well and I really had no issues with it at all. So now for the shape of the mouse. The shape of the mouse is similar to the G305. They are both, of course, egg shapes, but as you can see, the Orochi V2 is significantly smaller than the G305. The hump also just feels different, and on the sides of the mouse, the G305 has kind of curved sides, while the Orochi V2 has slight comfort grooves, which feels much better than the sides of the G305. And also because of the hump, I am actually able to palm grip this mouse if I curl my fingers a bit. So if I just curl them like this, I am able to palm grip this mouse, surprisingly. Obviously, not my whole palm would be on the mouse. It kind of rests like in the middle of my palm like this, and I am able to do it, and it works this way. It's not super comfortable because the mouse is pretty small, but I was able to make palm grip work this way. If you have bigger hands, I really wouldn't recommend it, and honestly, I don't think I'd recommend it for palm grip at all because it's still kind of slightly uncomfortable, and the mouse just is pretty small. But just wanted to note that this was the only way I was able to make palm grip work. And well, my hand size is 17.5 centimeters long by 9.5 centimeters wide. So yeah, maybe if you do have smaller hands, then palm grip will work much better for you. But for my hand size and bigger, I really wouldn't recommend palm. Claw and fingertip grip work really well with this mouse. It just feels a lot more natural and comfortable with both claw and fingertip. This shape really does shine with fingertip grip. It's just really short and it works really well with it. Also, claw works really well too, because with my grip I can kind of pull the mouse in like this and easily claw grip. I will note that I do have to curl my fingers quite a bit in order to grip this mouse, but this is mainly because of how short the mouse is. I don't think this is a big deal at all. It's comfortable for me, but just wanted to take note of it because it might not be very comfortable for some people, and you will have to curl your fingers quite a bit in order to grip this mouse, with any grip style really. So now for the coating of the mouse. As you can see, I did get the Razer Customs version, which comes with a custom top shell. So I'm not really sure if the coating is the same with like the original top shell, but this top shell that I got with the Razer Customs, it is pretty bad in terms of grip. Once my hands start to get a bit sweaty, the top shell becomes very slippery, and it just really isn't all that great if you have sweaty or clammy hands, which is what I have. On the sides of the mouse, I do get some grip, and the sides of the mouse do not get slippery when my hands get sweaty, so that is of course always great. But unfortunately, the top shell does get pretty slippery. And at the end of my week of use, I did have to end up cleaning the mouse because of how easily gamer gunk gathers around the mouse. The main comparison I can make with the top shell is that it has the characteristics of a glossy coating because of how easily it gets slippery with sweat. But like I said before, I don't know if this is how the coating feels on the original version, but this is how it feels with this design on the Razer Customs top shell. So now for the mouse feet of this mouse. The mouse feet provide a nice smooth glide on my Artisan Hein and my GameSense Radar mousepad. I didn't have any scratchiness issues whatsoever with either surface. The speed of the glide that I get from these mouse feet seems to be average when compared to other stock feet. They aren't super fast, but they do have a nice smooth glide on a soft and rough surface. I would really only recommend replacing these mouse feet if you are going to want a faster glide, but other than that, these mouse feet work perfectly fine, and I didn't have any issues with them. So now for mouse 1 or mouse 2, I get little to no pre or post travel on either mouse 1 or mouse 2. Mouse 1 and mouse 2 are the 2nd gen Razer mechanical switches, which are rated at 60 million clicks. I do get a nice crisp click when pressing down on either of them. They aren't the most satisfying to click, but they also do not feel bad whatsoever, so that's a huge plus. Both mouse 1 and mouse 2 require less force than average to actuate when compared to other mice and or switches, so they are pretty sensitive, and mouse 2 is actually more sensitive than mouse 1, because when I was playing in game and I ran out of a mouse pad, when readjusting and I would set the mouse down on my mouse pad, and I don't know if you can tell, but just by doing this, I am resting my fingers on mouse 1 and mouse 2, but just by doing this, I am actuating mouse 2, and that's how sensitive mouse 2 is. This doesn't happen with mouse 1 because the force required to actuate mouse 1 is just slightly heavier compared to mouse 2. So this was an issue for me. It might not be an issue for you guys. So if you do prefer more sensitive clicks, then you will like these, but they are too sensitive for me, because I prefer much heavier clicks, and normally when mouse 1 and mouse 2 is pretty sensitive, when I reset the mouse on my mouse pad, that's what normally happens to me. So if you are someone who does prefer a heavier click, then just keep this in mind. But other than that, I had no issues with them, and mouse 1 and mouse 2 performed really well. But like I said, they are just too sensitive for me, but it does not mean that they are bad clicks. So now for the side buttons of the mouse. As you can see, the side buttons are pretty skinny, which I think would be an issue, but it isn't because of how much they protrude out. You can see here they protrude out a good bit, and on the bottom as well you can see. So this makes them very easy to find and press. I do get a nice click when pressing down on either mouse 1 or mouse 2, but unfortunately, they do feel pretty mushy, and I think this is because of how much post travel I get when pressing down on them. I'm not sure if this is just my copy, but unfortunately there is a good bit of post travel, and this really is just how they feel. They did perform really well, and it didn't affect my performance in game or anything like that, but just keep in mind they felt pretty mushy for me, and it's just the experience that I got from them. So now for the scroll wheel of the mouse. When scrolling fast, the scroll wheel does sound a bit loud. Of course, not as loud as something on a Zowie mouse, but once you begin to scroll a little slower, it does get quieter. Also, when scrolling slowly, the scroll wheel feels much more tactile than when it does when scrolling fast. But when scrolling fast, you still feel the tactility. When scrolling up or down, I never accidentally press down on middle mouse button, no matter how fast or slow I scrolled. And also when pressing down on middle mouse button, I never accidentally scrolled up or down. The force required to actuate the middle mouse button seems to be average when compared to other mice. Also, the scroll wheel can be actuated on the left side or mouse 1 side of the scroll wheel. You press it on the side and you can actuate middle mouse button like this, but it cannot be done on the right side or the mouse 2 side of the scroll wheel. Overall, the scroll wheel performed really well and I had no issues with it. So now for the build quality of the mouse. The build quality of this mouse is exceptional. When stress testing the mouse, I get no flex on the mouse whatsoever, and I don't get any creaking at all. Also, when shaking the mouse, I don't hear the battery inside rattling or anything like that, so I get no rattle, and the mouse just feels very solid and of very high quality. The mouse is built really well and I had no quality control issues with it at all. Also, removing the top shell and putting it back in is very easy, and I didn't have any issues with this either. It worked and performed really well no matter how many times I removed or put the top shell back. So overall, the build quality is amazing. So would I end up recommending this mouse? Yes, I definitely would. This is definitely an upgrade from the G305, mainly because of the weight distribution issue and the comfort grooves on the side. I didn't like the sides of the G305 because they're just a little too rounded for me, and the comfort grooves makes gripping this mouse so much better. Also, this mouse is much lighter, and because of how the battery is placed inside of the mouse, the weight distribution is much better compared to the G305. I would really only recommend getting the mouse if you are planning on using the mouse with the AAA battery and the AA adapter. The AA adapter is like maybe $8 on Amazon, and you can get several of them for that price. And the reason I say this is because with a normal AA or AAA battery, the weight balance still feels off to me, but it feels perfect when using it with the AAA and AA converter. But other than the mushy feeling side buttons and the coating from the Razer Customs top shell, I really had no other complaints about this mouse. For $70 and it having the iconic egg shape with over 400 hours of battery life, you really can't go wrong with this mouse. I really do think it is an upgrade from the $50 G305. It is slightly more expensive, but unfortunately prices for mice have been going up. But I do think this is a top wireless mouse, and top wireless mice are pretty expensive, and at $70 you really can't go wrong. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching the video, and I'll see you guys later. Bye! Oh my god.
How's that, man? I thought we were friends.
Finger. Might add that to the free section.
Kill. You cocksucker.
I fucking hate you.
You're such an asshole.
Did that not hit him straight in his fucking forehead or not?
Doom would win. I think Doom has more than
I think Doom would win just on quantity. Quality, I don't know. Hey team, maybe you want to fucking do something? He's basically fucking useless. Yeah, he just rocket jumps into a pit.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even drink, so...
Tripping needs some help now. I can't carry the whole team. I'm serious. Think Speed's sleep. Think Speed's AFK. Maybe the tacos had one too many, what's that called?
Yeah, dicks.
Surprise attacks. I don't know. Small dicks.
You've had one too many.
It was weak.
Wait till I'm done eating this bagel and I'm gonna patch you open. Easily. He's on the ledge. Maybe not.